Welcome back to the channel. Today you are joining me at Langney Point. I had planned to fish Pevensey Bay, but when I turned up there was a match underway and I was going to have a little bit of a walk along the beach if I was going to fish, because they were all kind of either side of the car park there. So I thought rather than do that, I just felt like an easy session. I've driven over to Langney Point and we're going to see what we can pick up today. It's pretty much on high tide as we speak. Let me just check. High tide in about 10 minutes, I think. So we're going to be fishing the ebb, and I'm hoping to pick up some dabs on what I usually call my sole rigs. So let's take a look at these. These are my sole rigs / dab rigs. They've got 10-inch snoods and 0.4 blackout they're made from, 60-pound Zen rig body and size 6 super match hooks. So I'm going to fish with 2 of those rigs. And my third rig for the day, because I always like to have a spare baited up ready to go, this is loop rigs, 18-inch snoods. And the snoods are actually 0.43 fluorocarbon. Now, a day like today when we've got murky old water, I definitely don't need to be using that fluorocarbon. But I had these made up in the summer and I've just brought them along with me today to use. The fluorocarbon's not going to do any harm, so no problem there. And I'm going to be using these with size 2 super match hooks. And you can see, I'll show you in a bit more detail, but I've got some tubing on the bottom snood and that just helps kick it away from the lead. So we'll take another look at that when I've got it baited up. So bait for the day, what have we got? I'll just put my rigs back down. Pop those in the little side tray. I just went into Angler's Den in Pevensey Bay on my way here and picked up a couple of wraps of fresh lug there. So we got those, 2 wraps of those. And in my callback, I've got some bait out of the freezer just in case the bait shop didn't have anything in when I turned up. I got some frozen lug here. This one I've already opened before. I backpack my lug typically when I freeze it. Another couple of wraps there, so it's 30 frozen lug. I'm not going to get through all that, I'll try and keep it frozen. And I have some razorfish out of my freezer that have been in the freezer a bit too long, but I thought, what the heck, let's bring them down, give them a go today. Now, because I'm fishing Langney, the tide can rip round here. I've got my 6-ounce SKM grip leads there that I'm going to put on all 3 of my rigs. So I'm going to get my rod set up, we'll get some baits on the rigs, we'll get them sent out to the sea. See you in a second. So let's take a look at the dab rig. I'm just going to gently unwind this. I've already stuck the 6-ounce grip on there. Take off the little ties, hold it all nicely together while it's in the plastic bag. I used to use rig winders all the time, but I decided that I needed to focus on making my box lighter. So I've just gone over to these little ties. I can fit more rigs in my box because I haven't got to have a big box of rig winders. And I used to find the rig winders got quite dirty as well, and I have to put them through the washing machine. Oh, this got stuck, bear with me. Right, now I've got that little tie off, I've unwound the rig and we can take a look. So I've got a size 2 SS2 swivel there at the top from Tronics Pro. Ow, sharp hooks. And that little size 6 swivel at the top is trapped between a couple of micro beads and my rig gum stops. And there we have the 10-inch snood with that size 6 super match hook at the bottom. In the middle of the rig body, it's exactly the same setup. And then the bottom snood there is also fished above the lead. If I want to change that as the session goes on, because I use these rig gum stops, I can just slide that one down and fish 2 up, 1 down. So I'm going to get this baited up and we'll get it chucked out. So for the first chuck, I'm just going to stick with these lug. The razorfish are still a little bit frozen. These are fairly small lug, so I'm going to put them on whole. So I've just taken 3 out there, give them a slap, slapping toughens them up. There we are, nice tough little worms. And we're going to do the usual, trim the top. Well, that was the tail. The tail and the top off, that's 1. Next one, trim the top, trim the tail. You see they really are quite small. And that one, trim that top and tail. The sea's getting a little bit close. I thought I'd set up far enough back. Maybe not. But we're not far off high tide, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. So we're going to get the bait needle. Because these are nice fresh worms, I'm going to give it a go without elastic. I don't like that needle, just get a different one. Let's try that again. All right, pop these worms on bait needle tail first. I'll get all 3 on here, no problem. And then we're going to pop these on the hooks. So I start at the top, just because that's what I fancy doing. Oh, there we are, top snood, get that hook. These worms are really nicely matched to these size hooks. Put that under tension. There we go, that's the one's on. Now we do the middle one. Keep that nice and tight. See, that really is a small bait going on there. That's all we need. And then the other hook. Last one. There we are. Give your hands a quick rinse in the bucket. Where did I put my rag? There we go. Quick clean of those hands. We're going to get this clipped on. And we're going to get it sent out probably about 40, 50 yards, I reckon. Maybe 40 yards. Very nice, gentle flick to get these beautiful baits out in the water. All right, so I'll get the clip that I've got on my main line at the end of my leader. I'm going to get this clipped on. This is just a flapper rig, so there's no bait clips to worry about. And we're going to get this sent out. I'll just tighten the drag on my reel. First chuck and all. Because I'm only plopping it, I haven't done any cast to wet the line. We're just going to go cold turkey. If that's the right phrase, probably not. My brain's not quite with it. We're going to give this a really gentle little flick. So I'm going to cast it slightly to my right. That is about 40 yards. This is exactly where I wanted it. Let's see if we can pick up a dab. I'm hoping it's not going to be a sea full of tings, because it is that time of year. We've all been there. Treble shots of tings every 5 minutes. I don't mind the odd one, but treble shots every 5 minutes, not for me. Anyway, that one's out. We're going to get the other rig set up. I'll put some razor fish on that one. We'll take a look in a sec. Well, that one I just chucked out with the dab rig. I've got some very gentle little taps on it. So hopefully that's a sign of something good. It didn't look like a big enough bite for a whiting, but you never know, they can be pretty small around here. Anyway, we're going to get the loop rig sorted out. I've got some lug for the top hook. So I'll give that its nice slap and do the top and tail in. So snip off the head and snip off that sandy tail. Tail first onto the bait needle. That's a beautiful tough worm. So this is going to go on the top hook. Let's get that. Now this is a clip down rig, so I've got bait stops on this. Just make a bit more space for the worm. Let's slide the bait stop up. And we get that slid on nice. Pop the bait stop right down. There we go. Perfect. So the bottom hook, this is only a 2-hook loop rig. Bottom hook, we're going to put those razors on. So I'm going to get a couple here. I think I'll put 2 on. They're quite small. And like I say, they've been in my freezer a long time, so I'm not quite sure how good a bait these are going to be. We'll get a couple out. And what I'm going to do is slide the bait needle through one. And then we're going to use a nice decent amount of elastic to whip these together. So I've got my Tronics Pro Bait-Tech there. Just start off nice and gentle. Poor, they do stink. Like I say, been in the freezer quite a long time. I get these nicely bound up together. I try not to get too much juice on me because it is kind of honking. plenty of elastic. There we go. And then we get this onto the bottom hook. I'll trim this up in a minute once I've got it on the hook. There's a few bits, don't like the look of there, flapping around. Again, I'll slide that bait stop up just a little bit, so I haven't got quite enough room there for the bait. There we are. And I'm going to slide that on to make sure I keep that under tension. There we go, and that is going on. Keep it nice and steady. There we go. I'll slide that bait stop back down in a second after I've given my grubby hands a little rinse. There we are. So I'll just come up to the camera, we'll take a closer look. So here we go at the top. As usual, we've got the SRT spring on there, and then that size 2 super match now loaded with that lug. I'll just slide that bait stop down a little tiny bit more. So we want that to hold that worm nicely in place there. And the bottom snood, I've got that bit of tube, like I said, hopefully you can see that. Bit of green tube there. And now we have these razor fish. And I'm going to slide that bait stop just down so it's just touching. We can see I've got a few bits dangling, so I'm going to get my scissors and trim this up so it's a little bit neater. I don't like those bits flying around there. I'm just going to snip those off. There we go. So that's now a neater bait. I'll get this attached to the rod, and we'll get this one out as well. About the same distance as the other one. And then we've got 2 rods out fishing. Right, let's get this rig clipped on, eh? Oh, that razor fish does an off stink. Ooh. I hope it catches something and it's worth me getting my hands all smelly like that. Right, so get this loop rig clipped up. So I'll put the bottom snood on the imp at the bottom. And then the top hook goes on that cascade swivel. That's part way along the bottom snood. Because this is the first time I use this rig, I'm just going to adjust the position of my swivel at the top. I always do this on the beach because it's easier once it's clipped up on your rod, rather than do it at home. Unlike crimps, you don't have to get the positioning perfect while you're making the rig. You can adjust it live on the beach. Sort that leader out a little bit. Oops, that's come unclipped. Right, clip that clip back up. That coming unclipped, that's why I'm switching more over to using splashdowns these days rather than imps, because I do cast off the ground as well, so it just makes it a bit more secure. But there we go, look at that. Beautiful, juicy razor fish on the bottom hook and those lugs ready to go out on the top. Right, let's get them cast out. So I'm going to cast from here. Actually, no, I'll cast that one to the right, didn't I? So I'm going to go to the left. I might even stick this one in a little bit closer, you know. Little gentle flick. There we are. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on which direction my lines are getting pulled, because that tide rip here, I've had sessions before where it's taken me into the groins, even with 6-ounce grips. So we do need to be careful. Right. Look, that one is in nice and close. So I haven't got a lot of line out there. And there we have it. So now I'm going to get my third rig baited up, ready to go. And then, because I had that little nibble on the one I chucked out first, we'll reel that in, check the baits, get some fresh ones sent out. Well guys, the right hand rod is the one I chucked out first. Both the rods I'm using today are my competition performance 2-piece, and I've got my Blue 7HT on the one on the right with the sole rig on it at the moment, and one of my Penn Fathom 15s on the other. So let's take a look. Let's see if something else had a munch on these worms. I've got the other sole / dab rig baited up, ready to go, and I've put razor fish on the top hook and fresh blacks on the other two. All right, well, it doesn't feel fishy, but I definitely saw a little nibble, so we'll have a look and see if the bait's been attacked at all in any obvious way. I'm a bit relieved actually that it doesn't feel like I'm going to have a treble shot of whiting on it. I'm sure if I was fishing down here after dark, that is what I'll be catching. So which hook's been attacked is the question. Can I tell? No. In fact, those baits look so good, I might just tidy them up and chuck them back out. Let's just take a look at them. Here we are. Let's check this worm over. Yeah, that looks absolutely fine. Middle snood. Yep, that worm also looks good. I'll probably only give this one 10 minutes because I'm sticking the same bait back out. It had not been out there a huge amount of time, just while I was setting that other rod up. So we're going to chuck it back out roughly where it was. Sort my grip lead out first, look. We don't want it pulling around into that groin, do we? Oops, obviously need to tighten that wire, look, it's come back undone. Give that little pinch. So if your grip leads come loose, little pinch on the wires. That's better, nice and tight now. So this is the one I'm chucking to the right. That's not twisted around the top eye, that's good. And we'll give it a little flick. That's maybe 5-10 yards further than the first time. And there we are, good to go. So now we've got our third rig still ready there, baited up. Just check the time so I know when that's been out, 10 minutes. And there we have it. We've got 2 rods and we're fishing. Couldn't ask for more really on a Sunday morning, eh? Right, I'll let that grip lead settle. Tighten the one up on the right in a little second and keep a bit of tension in there. But yeah, good stuff. Well, I think it's time to take a look at the loop rig. I haven't seen any taps on that, but we'll get it in, see if there's anything doing. If there's nothing doing, then I'll probably chuck this one out a little bit further. I picked up a little bit of weed there on the line, nothing too bad. It'll probably come off in a second. Let's tighten that reel seat up. No, I always find on my first cast, I always end up having to tighten that reel seat up a little bit. I'll shake that weed off, there we go. So definitely no fish on this, sadly. But it's still early days. We're only just at the beginning of the ebb, and we might need a bit of tide to start flowing properly before we pick anything up. So those baits look untouched. They look pretty much as they did when I sent them out. So I'm going to switch over from the loop rig to my dab rig with those 10-inch snoods and size 6 super match hooks, and we'll send this one out a little bit further. Maybe I'll go for like 75 yards or something this time. Right, here we are, good to go. Check my drop length, that looks a bit short. It's better. Because I'm not whacking it, I haven't put my thumbie on. Just go back on the deck there at about 2 o'clock. There. And there we are, back out fishing. So we're going to get the baits freshened up on the spare rig. Ready for when the other one comes back in. Ooh! Sorry, when the other one comes back in. I'm just admiring, there's a bit of blue sky above my head. It's a fairly grey, cloudy day, but that bit of blue sky has just broken through. Right, there's my lead. I always try and chuck my lead on the beach near one of my tripod legs, so I don't have to spend ages hunting for it. So let's take a look at these baits. Look, you can see that lug at the top is untouched, and these razorfish look pretty much identical to when I shut them out. So I already mentioned that little bit of tube I've got on the bottom of the, the top of the bottom snood, just to kick it out away from that grip lead. But also on this bottom snood, where I've got the cascade swivel for the loop rig element of this rig, I've also got one of these little mini clips. So if I do hook a flatty, you've probably seen in some of my other videos, I can simply unclip that bottom hook from the rig, and I can use the through the gills unhooking method. So I'll just pop that back on there. A bit kinder to the fish. Right, I'll get those baits sorted, get it ready for the next chuck. We've got a bite. We have a bite on the left-hand rod. That's the one with the, they've both got the dab rigs on at the minute. That's the one I just chucked out about, excuse me, about 75 yards. Very gentle little taps. Hopefully they're coming out on the camera. So I'm just going to leave that for a minute to develop, and hopefully we'll get our dab, the target species. You never know. Just keep watching. Very, very delicate little taps. There we go, look, a bit of a bigger bite. Oh, I hope that's not a ting. Mind you, any fish beats a blank. We're on a blank at the moment, even though I've only been here a little while. It'd be nice to get that monkey off the back, wouldn't it? There it goes, right. Let's have a look. Let's see if we have anything. Well, there's a little bit of weight here, but that might just be the grip lead. There are some little muddy patches out there. Oh, there's definitely more weight on this than the first couple I reeled in, but let's just see how it goes. If I'm in one of those little sinky patches. It's definitely heavier. We shall see. It's either the grip lead dragging on the ground, or we've got a fish. What's it going to be? We're nearly at the edge. Just got the leader knot come down. Oh yes. It looks like the target species, guys. Look at that. That is what I came for. A beautiful little dab, look. My hopes and dreams have come true, look. Look at that. Oh, sweetest little dab. That has taken, I think that's on the razorfish actually. So there we go. I'm going to get this guy in the bucket and we get the other rig chucked back out. But there we go. We got the target. Love it when a plan comes together. Anyway, let's get him in the bucket. Oh, drop him down there. Right way up. I'll unhook him after I've got the baits back out. So we'll do that first. There we go. So again, we'll go for about the 75 yard mark, given that we just picked up the dab there. Oh, just move a bit further away from the other rod. Drop. Pretty much the same spot as we just picked up that one. So I'll leave that grip lead to settle. Come and tighten that line up in a sec. But firstly, we'll get this dab unhooked, chuck it back. So there we go, I've unhooked him. That was on the razorfish and he's coming in at 25 centimetres, so let's get him popped back. And absolutely no blood. I unhooked him using the through the gills method, and there's a short on my channel showing how to do that if you've not done it yourselves. Definitely worth giving it a go because it's a really good way of unhooking flatties. So let's get this guy back. I'll take you with me. Walking down to the edge. I'll just spin the camera around so you can see. Try not to get too close to the sea. Oh, so you're not very level, are you? There we go. Right. Let's give him back his freedom. Just wait for this next wave to come in. Oh, there's a bigger one. We'll wait for the big one. Don't want to get wet feet. There we go. Nearly got wet feet. But there we go. Off he goes. Lives to fight another day. But there we go. Target species. Happy gem. See you shortly. Well guys, I'm just bringing you back. I'm still baiting up, but the left-hand rod's had another knock. That's the one that's 75 yards out. We'll just keep watching that while I'm putting some more razorfish on this 3-hook flapper that is my dab / sole rig. Just popping some bait elastic on. Let's see if that bite develops. It was a much more positive bite than the dab we just landed. So as soon as I got this bait sorted out, we will have a look and see if there's anything on the end. I'm fearful this might be more like a whiting. But that's all rebaited and good to go. Get that hung up. Right, those razorfish are a little bit skanky, so I'm just going to rinse the grit off my hands before we get that reeled in. There we go. Quick hand clean. Right, let's see. Let's see if we've got a hook up. Oh, the sun's come out. Look at that. Can't ask for more, can you? Right, there's nothing on there. I've got 3 hooks, so I'll pop it back down and see if that bite comes back. Either way, I can relax now, can't I? Because I caught my dab. Caught what I came for. Can't be bad. What to do first? I've got slack line on the left and a bite going mad on the right. I'll tighten the left and see what we got on this one. This is the one that was 40 yards out. I haven't had time to reel it in for a little while. There's definitely a bit of weight on this. It was going mental, I tell you. Here, fishy. What is it? Oh, leader knot. Don't want to leave that in the middle of the sport. What do we have? Just at the edge here. Oh, look. Just what I wanted. A ting. Well, that didn't take that long, did it? Look at that. A fish is a fish. Oh, keep still, mate. We'll get this guy unhooked to get him sent back quite quick because we know whiting don't do well out of water. I'll just pop him down in my bucket for a second. I'm not fishing a match, so speed isn't the massive importance to me today. I'll get him unhooked, send him back before we cast back out. Try and give him a chance, even though we know it's a whiting, but it's still a life, isn't it? And they're part of the food chain, and we need to preserve what we've got left in our seas. So we've got him here, get my forceps. Don't know why I'm doing this right-handed. I reached the hook. Got taken that right down. When you get to my age, sometimes the glasses have to come off to do this. Right, I can see the hook. There it is. So hook's out, fish, good to go back. Bleeding a little bit, but you know, if he goes back and dies, something's going to eat him. Let's get him sent back. See you in a minute. Well, he swam off, thankfully. Let's hope he makes it, eh? Right, now where was I? We need to get some baits back out. So I'm going to pop this one further because we picked up that dab further out. And we picked up the dreaded ting close in. All right, drop length's good. Just stand out here a little bit. So we're going for about 75 yards. Nice gentle flick. Perfect. Even thumbed that one a little bit to slow it down. Now we just have to wait for that lead to settle in a minute and I'll get that nice and tight. Right. Oh, the other one's gone slack again, look. Okay, let's get this in. See if there's anything on it. I'll just move the lead. Oops. Gemma, really? How long have I been fishing? Well, it wouldn't look like I've been fishing as long as I have, would it? Oh, there's weight here as well. Do we have anything? No. So I'll just check these baits. Looks like something's had a go. Yeah, there's a flatty had a go at the bottom hook here, look. Let's take a look at this. Classic flatty. A turned hook. As they suck the bait in and then they spit it out. Look at that. You can probably see that hook's turned back up and caught round the snood. So it's definitely signs of flatty. Let's unhook that. Now, considering I haven't got another rig baited up ready to go, the baits on here look reasonable. So I'm going to get them chucked back out just while I sort my rigs out. And hopefully we'll pick something up. See you shortly. Well, no sooner than I cast that one back out, the other one's going. The right hand rod this time. Still haven't had a chance to rebait that rig. So let's have a lift into this. See if there's a fish on there. If not, I'm going to pop it back in the tripod. Yeah, there's something here. Look at that. Hopefully you can see that tip. Nice bend in the tip. Oh, actually, it feels like it might be a bit snagged. Is it moving? It is moving. It might have just been caught in one of those muddy patches where the lead sinks a little bit. Even though it's moving though, it still feels like we've got something on. God, I'm getting hot. You might see I've got a new coat today. I treated myself to a vastly reduced winter coat in the Black Friday sales a few weeks back. Feather lined. I thought that'll do me well, especially when I go to Norway. And it was fairly cheap, so I don't mind bringing it out fishing. Anyway, with the sun out, I'm certainly warm, I can tell you that. What do we have on here? It's double shot. Oh no. Oh no. We have, well, we've got a third species. We got yet another whiting. Oh, there we go, Mr. Whiting. And we have as well, down here, if I can get hold of him, a cute little pout. So I'm going to get these guys unhooked, get them sent back, pop them in the bucket of water for a second, get this rod put down out of the way. I was only planning a short session today, and I'll tell you, if it carries on like this for a while, it might even be a little bit shorter than I had in mind originally. But I'm going to get these fish unhooked, get them popped back. See you in a moment. I've just had an absolutely cracking bite on the only rod I've got in the water. I fear we know what it's going to be though, don't we? Right, it's not on there. Pop the rod back down. If the bites keep up like this, I'll be going down to one rod very, very soon. Right, let's keep an eye on that. I've now got two rigs I haven't baited up. Right, Mr. Fish. Anyway, the whiting I just caught was on the razor fish. The pout was on the lug. So both baits are doing good, which is good. That's almost tautology, isn't it? Both baits are doing good, which is good. I don't know. What's happened to my brain today? I'm a bit jet lagged, so I've just come back from holiday. And there we go, look. Slack lining me a little bit. Certainly moved the grip lead, not slack. Well, my battery just died, of course, while I was mid-flow. I think what I was saying was I caught fish on both baits on that last chuck. We've now got a little nibble on the one that's out there, but I'm going to get rebaited before I worry about bringing that one in, because I've now got 2 rigs out the water with no bait on. Can't keep up. Well, my plan to get that done has been thwarted, because look, I've got loads of slack line here, absolutely loads of it. Catch up with a lead. And I still think I haven't got this fish on here. I think what I'm going to do is just reel it in, regroup. Oh no, I think there is something on here. Get those 2 rigs rebaited and go down to 1 rod for a bit, just so that I can keep on top of the bites. I don't want to worry about fish hanging themselves and not going back well. Right, I've got the leader. Have we got anything on here? No. Well, that's a nice little tangled mess, isn't it? I'll sort that out in a second. Once I've rebaited those other 2 rigs and got something ready to go back out. Right, I'll hang that up here, out the way. Have the other ones. Pop that clip on that line. Right, let's get rebaited. I'm just going to stick lug on one so I can get it done quickly, because it's easier to put those on than the razors, and then we get it chucked back out. So I've already trimmed a couple up. I started trimming those. I've done the tails, just got to do the heads, and then we get this on a bait needle on the reef. See you in a sec. Right, so where was I? Baiting up. Right, I've got a 3rd worm here. Just need to trim. So take the head off. Got to do the heads on the other 2. I do this just to let the scent out. Not that we seem to need that today. Tail first. 3 small little worms, just right for size 6 hooks. Tail first. Right. So 3 lug loaded onto the bait needle. And we get them onto my dab rig. Come on. I've got a little bit tangled here. I was in a bit of a rush getting everything done just now. Trying to keep up with those bites. So I've just taken the pressure off myself a little bit by having both rods temporarily out of the water. Right. There we go. So get all the bait off the hooks. I've already done that with 2, get it off the middle one as well. Chuck that bit away. And then we get these worms on so that I'm ready to get this rig back out. Because as soon as we really got noticeably into the ebb, these whiting have come on the feed. So it was nice to get that dab in early in the session, before that tide run started, and the 3rd hook here to be done. Get that on. Right, that's that baited up. Just got to do the grip lead. Get that ready to go. Just move that out of my way for a second. Pop the lead down there next to the edge of the shelter. And then we've got to do the other rig, the other dab rig, which is somewhere down by my feet. There it is. So again, I'm going to look at this one's got some razor fish on it, which actually look in pretty good nick. So I'll leave those on there. If it's just whiting out there competing for food, I don't think they're going to mind that these razor fish have already been out once. They weren't out very long at all. They've still got some nice scent. I've just got a bit of a tangle here to get undone, where I've just been literally chucking my rigs down to keep up with stuff. Right, so those 2 razors can stay. And then the bottom hook had lug on, so we'll go with lug again on there. And I'll get this one chucked out first. Right, so get this old bit of lug off. It's looking a bit mangled. It was inside a pout after all. In fact, I haven't got more lug ready. I've just finished the first wrap. They're in my box. I'll get them back out in a sec. So I'll just stick another razor fish on here. Go with triple razor, why not? I'll get some more lug out in a second. Get that on the bait needle. Slide it along. See, these are really small razor fish. And you can see there exactly why I need to put elastic on that. Because that would just be flapping around all over the place on the hook. Get that nicely whipped. Not too tight. Just enough elastic so it holds it in place. And then we get that bottom hook. Make sure I keep this under decent tension because it's a bit harder to slide the razors on than the lug. So just pulling that gently over the eye of the hook. There we go. Good to go. So we get this one chucked back out first. See if we can pick up another dab, eh? Rather than a ting ting ting. I fear I know what's coming. But wish me luck. Luck for a dab, not for a ting. Right, here we go then. I've just got to set the grip leads after I've got this clipped on the rod. I think I'll use the one with the 7HT on. I just prefer casting that for this sort of fishing. You know, light stuff, not heavy stuff. Get that grip lead reset. Oh, tighten those wires up a bit again. Give them a little squeeze. And we're good to go. I'm actually going to try a bit closer in, although I fear if there's a ting at 70 yards, there's going to be a ting at 40. But we'll see. Nice gentle flick. Let's see how we get on. What can I say? I went down to one rod because it was going mental. And since I've done that, I've had one little tap. So what I'm going to do is get a second rig put out on the rod that I haven't got cast out. Let's have a look and see if we can pick something up. I'm going to stick the loop rig on this one because I've got the dab / sole rig out on the other. Not expecting any sole, of course, now it's December. But the rigs I typically make for sole, oh, I've got that twisting around the top right. But they're also good for dabs. Right, let's get this whacked out. Let's see if we can pick up another one. Well, as quick as those fish turned up, they've moved off. So it's definitely a sign that it's time for a cup of tea. The temperature's just dropped right down. It's got a tad nippy. The wind has picked up a little bit. So all signs that a cuppa is the order of the day. So I'll get my jet boil set up and we get a brew put on. Jet boil is a fantastic thing, especially if I'm out for a long session. I can bring loads of water with me, knowing it's going to stay nice and hot. Sorry, knowing I can boil it so it's nice and hot when I have my cup of tea. But I've only brought enough milk and water for 1 or 1.5 cups today. So we get this on. This jet boil is going to make it nice and hot in no time at all. Just attach the cup there. The instructions actually say, just to make sure that's tight. Yeah. The instructions actually say to light it without the cup on. But I'm a rebel, you know. Get that on there. That's it, locked in place. So light. Turn that gas right up. That'll take about a minute to come up to the boil and I'll have a nice hot cup of tea. I brought a little bit of milk with me and I have a new cup today. So I usually use just a flask cup, even though I bring the jet boil rather than a flask. But today I have a brand new Yeti thermal cup, complete with a lid. To me, I think this lid is going to be a game changer. A number of times I made a cup of tea, got a bite, left it and come back to a lukewarm cup of tea. This is just going to help it hold that temperature. So when that's boiled, I'm going to make myself a nice big cup of tea, get my caffeine levels back up, get some more energy and carry on fishing. Well, not that I've stopped fishing, but you know what I mean. Get a bit more effort going because I'll have my energy levels back. Those bites really have disappeared. From the moment I went down to one rod, I've had one little tap, and that must have been about half an hour ago. Very, very bizarre. Usually you find when the whiting and the pout turn up, it's just relentless. So I don't know what's happened. Sometimes you get seals around. Maybe something's turned up that's going to eat them and they've all got a little bit scared and hidden. Who knows? All I can say is I'm glad I'm not catching triple shots of whiting, and we've got a chance of a dab if they're not attacking my bait straight away. So let's get this kettle boiling and get that brew in me. Can't wait. Just watching the rods while I'm waiting for that jet boil to come up to temperature. So on one rod at the minute, I've got out there the 3-hook dab rig, and all the hooks are loaded with razorfish. And I've also got the 2-hook loop rig, and I've got razorfish on one hook, and I'm pretty sure I had lug on the other. And my spare rig's loaded up with 3 lug, ready to go out. Oh, it's nice. The sun's just trying to come out. It went, oh, there we go, look, we're boiling. It went really cold and dark for a little bit. So it's nice to see it trying to poke back through. Let's get that lid off. Oh, boiling tea. Oh, look at that. A lovely big cup of tea. Can't beat it. Put that out of the way. Make sure that lid's on so it doesn't blow away. Little bit of milk. Oh, look at that. I'll pop that lid on to keep the temperature up. Game changing cup. Yeti all the way. Bit of a treat really, because they are expensive cups, but I found this one reduced in a sale, so I thought why not. I'm out fishing enough in the winter and I do love my cup of tea. Anyway, I'll leave that there to brew and I'll bring you back if the fish reappear. See you shortly. Well, what is going on? I actually don't know quite what to say. I had those bites, the flurry of bites, and as I said, once I went down to run one rod, nothing. It was like a switch has flicked from there being too many whiting in front of me to nothing in front of me. It's been a long time now since I had a bite. We're going to reel in the right hand rod and see what's happening. See what sort of state the bait's in. This has got the dab rig on there. I think this was one that's just got razorfish on. And I've got the loop rig baited up, ready to go out. And that has got just lug on it. So I'm trying to mix up the baits, give us the best chance of picking up another fish. So I've gone from thinking, oh, I'm going to be tinged out and packing up early, to I can go back to my original plan of maybe fishing for about 4 hours total. So a relatively short session for me before I head off back home. Getting fairly peckish now as well. I only brought a banana with me, which I've already eaten. Come on, let's see what we have. It's really very bizarre. I mean, I'm used to fish feeding in flurries, but not normally whiting, believe it or not. Nothing, just the razorfish that went out. So we switch this rig over and get the loop rig whacked out instead. I'm going to put this one a little bit further. Let's see how we get on. Drop length right. Check it's not twisted around that top eye. And we're good to go. We'll find out in the next 10 or 15 minutes. Well, it's been a long time since I recorded anything. Oh, just took my hat out. And I've actually just had bites on both rods. We're going to reel the one in on the right and see if we've got anything on here. I haven't got my spare rig baited up yet because I was actually just having a little chat on the phone, you know. Not much doing with the fishing, so I'm not prepared. More full meat. Let's see if we've got anything on here. Let's get it moving. Quite sunk into the ground, isn't it? There we go, it's moving now. Where I'm fishing at Langney Point, we're actually quite sheltered today from the wind. It's blowing a westerly. And when I looked at the forecast, I think it was westerly 20s, but round here it's very sheltered. But there's that little bit of a dump coming in where the sea's obviously choppy around the headland. Is there anything on it? That's the question. Can't be far out now. Just coming through the surf, I think. If we've got fish on, I'll walk down rather than drag it up the beach. No, nothing. See what's been going on with this rig. Well, the top hook has absolutely been attacked. Look at that. Something's had a right go at that lugworm. Look, it's hanging right off the hook there. There's the hook. Bottom hook looks pretty much untouched. So I'll get this bait freshened up and get this one chucked back out, and then we're reeling the other one. See you shortly. Well, I was just get my words out. I was just standing up to reel in, check the baits on the right hand rod, and as I started walking towards it, goes the rod tip. So maybe it's a whiting. I don't think it was a dab bite, but you know what? I'm really pleased I managed to wangle that dab out because it's still just a little bit early for them. I reckon in another week or two they'll be here in more numbers. And also, if I'd been fishing my preferred venue of Pevensey Bay today, I'm sure I would have caught more than that one. So I'm just going to leave this little bite for a minute, maybe 30 seconds, you know, and see how we're getting on. In other news, the cup, the new cup. This cup of tea that I made well over an hour ago, probably an hour and a half ago now, is still warm. I've drunk most of it. There's a little about that much left, and I've just been having little sips every so often. So the new mug absolutely worked a treat. No more me thinking, oh, if I go and reel in 5 minutes time my tea's going to be cold. That is nice. It's not hot by any means, but it's warm enough to enjoy and have that little drink. And there's me talking to the camera and not watching my rod tip. Anyway, let's see if there's a fish on the end. Oh, I think I've lost the plot. Have I lost the plot? Maybe. Let's have a little butcher's. It's definitely been a patchy old session, hasn't it? Little bites at the beginning, a flurry of intense activity with the whiting. Oh, come on, move. Once I get this moving, hopefully it'll come in all right. I'm just going to walk down to the water's edge so I don't drag whatever's on here up the beach. We'll take a look when I come back up the shingle. See you in a second. Well, what do we have here? Not as big as our first dab, but another, oops, getting the right way round. Another of our target species, beautifully lip hooked. I'll get him off now, pop him in the bucket to recover for a minute. Real baby, this one. I'll just give him a quick measure, roughly. That's about 22 centimetres. In the bucket he goes. And that was on the top hook on the lug. Anyway, I'll give that dab a little rest, get some more baits chucked out. Woohoo! Well guys, I've got bites on both rods. I'm hoping they're dab bites. They didn't look quite vicious enough to be the tings. Plausibly pout, but I'm pretty sure they might be dabs. I like that. Pretty sure they might be. How confident are you, Jen? How confident are you? Not very is the answer. The one on the left-hand rod I think was more dab-like than the one on the right. I've got lug on both at the moment, no razor fish out there. The two dabs we've had today, one was on the razors, one was on the lug. The one on the right's been out longer, so unless there's any reason to reel the other one in first, I'll reel the one on the right in second. Sorry, I'll reel the one on the right in first. Definitely having trouble getting my words out today. must be old age setting in. There it goes, look. I'll lift into it in a minute. Put my hood down. The sun's come back out. It's warmed up a little bit. Just now it went fairly dark and chilly. That warmth from that sun makes a massive difference to the temperature. Right, let's lift into this one on the right. See if there's any weight there. If not, I'll pop it back down. There's quite a bow in the line from the wind. There might be something on here. If there is, I'll walk down the shingle again so I don't drag it up. Oh, I think all I was doing there was picking up the slack in the line from the wind. So now I found the weight. Cool. Is that snagged, I wonder? God, that is not moving. Right, bear with me. Hopefully this is going to come out. That is proper snagged. At least it's at the end of my session and not at the beginning. Oh, it's broken, that's it. Hopefully there wasn't a fish on the end. I won't bother putting a new leader on. I'll sort that out at home after I've given them a really good wash. Well, that's a bit of a shame. Nobody likes leaving kit out in the sea. A few leads I've lost recently to snags. Well, I've had a few more little dab-like taps on the rod that's still out. Let's reel it in and then we're going to call it a day. Let's see, can we pick up that dab number 3? Make my day if we do. I'm hoping my next session I'll be able to fish Pevensey Bay, which is what I intended today. I think there's some bad weather coming, but hopefully in about 4 days I might be able to make it down there. We'll see. Let's find out if we've got another dab. To be honest, it's feeling pretty light, but we came down with a plan. Well, I came down with a plan targeting those dabs, and we certainly had a couple, so that's always good. Like I say, still a few weeks early really for them to be around in numbers, but hopefully when we get up to Christmas, New Year, they'll be more prolific, as long as we can keep away from those whiting when we're down the beach. So yeah, not a bad session really. If you've enjoyed the video, please click like, and I'd love it if you could subscribe to my channel. I'm not far off 2,500 subscribers. I don't think I'm going to get there for Christmas, but maybe by the end of January we might hit that 2,500 mark. Thanks to everyone who's subscribed so far, it's very much appreciated. It helps give my channel a little bit more visibility and encourages me to keep making these videos. I'm only doing this for fun, as a hobby. And look at that, something has had a right munch on that hook. Let's take a look. Bait's nearly gone, look at that. Munched good and proper. Anyway, on that note, this is it for today. I'll see you next time. Maybe Pevensey Bay, maybe somewhere else. Keep tuned to the channel and you'll be the first to see where I head out next. See you soon guys, and thanks for watching.